Hey there everybody, this is Vince Verdict. Thank you for watching. Today I'm going to review The Division for you. That is the beta version of The Division. Let me say that this beta version feels more like a demo. The game is going to be released at the 18th of March. This obviously means that the guys at Ubisoft don't have much room to improve on their design or to fix bugs. That said, in this beta version I hardly encountered any. This beta version felt finished. That's finished by Ubisoft's design. If the game feels complete, that's something else entirely. I think there are some key elements missing. I'm going to get back to you on that later in this video. Now let's start talking about performance. If you want to know what the graphical options are that you can play around with, pay good attention at what I'm showing you right now. After playing around a little with the graphical options, I realized that the object detail and the extra streaming distance sliders have the biggest impact on performance. You don't want to decrease the object detail slider too much because it impacts the detail of every object in close proximity. And since we are in a messed up Manhattan, it's awesome to have the object detail slider on full because the streets just look amazing. They look cluttered, they look messed up, they look great. Now about the story. New York City is hit by a virus and is now in quarantine, which is the perfect timing for the criminals to take over the streets, which is exactly what is happening in The Division. You are part of a government agency called The Division. It's your job to clean out the streets and bring back order. You can only do this with the help of other people, and that's where your main base of operation comes in. There's the medical, tech and security wing, and the more you improve them, the stronger your base of operation is gonna be. You can level up these wings by doing quests or by doing encounters in the streets. An example for a street encounter is a hostage situation. You have to clean out a store full of criminals, find a hostage key, and then free the hostages. Once you've done that, you gain medical supplies. With medical supplies you can improve your medical wing. Of course, through exploration you can also find weapon mods and, of course, weapons and armor and even vanity objects. Vanity objects determine the way your character looks. What you see here is another street encounter. Here you are helping soldiers fight off thugs. Once you engage in this encounter you have to defeat a few waves of enemies, and after that you get a few points for another wing in your base to improve upon.
Warning, hostile forces approaching.
Got tacos inbound!
Now let's talk about combat. The Division is a cover-based shooter. During combat you have to reposition yourself every so often to keep the advantage over the enemy, especially during waves. You have a quick slot for a main weapon, a secondary weapon and a sidearm. You have two combat skills to use, for example a sticky grenade and the ability to heal yourself and allies. There's also an ability to use a tactical shield, but using that limits you to using only your sidearm. I tried the skill a little and felt like my combat efficiency was too bad compared to the amount of damage I still endured. By upgrading your main base wings you can however improve or mod the skills. The sticky grenade and the healing ability have a larger area of effect, for example, or the tactical shield can be placed on the ground to use as a mobile cover. Main quest combat areas can be reset so you can do them over and over again solo or with your friends. I think this just begs to be exploited. Replaying main story areas still rewards you with XP, loot and points for your main base wings. Another design decision that I think is weird is that you cannot harm any non-playing character. You can find civilians on the street or in need to be rescued. They are immune to friendly fire or psychotic tendencies of the player. Now let's talk about the Dark Zones, which are the only PvP areas in the game. That's right, Outside of the Dark Zones you will not find other players except for those in your party, and players in your party are immune to friendly fire. In Dark Zones, players are marked as friendlies until they shoot you. Shooting you and actually hitting you marks them as a rogue agent for everyone in the vicinity to see. Killing a rogue agent grants Dark Zone experience points and gives you DZ currency, which you can use to buy items at the DZ vendors. You can attempt to kill friendlies to steal their gear and extract it for yourself without having to put in the effort of finding said gear for yourself. However, the Dark Zone in the beta was relatively small and there was just no way for a single rogue agent to outlive the dozen of players hunting them. If you want to find the best gear in the game, you have to enter the Dark Zones. If you want to be able to equip the gear you find, you first need to extract it by calling a helicopter at the extraction area. I was pleasantly surprised to see that you yourself are not being extracted, but only your newfound gear is, which means that you can continue hunting for better loot without interruption.
Action operation complete.
There is a flawed design choice in the Dark Zones, I think. As I said earlier, you will only be marked a rogue agent if you actually hit somebody. Because of this, I managed to indirectly annihilate an entire friendly group of players by running towards them and shooting slightly above them. I didn't hit them. As a reflex, one of them did shoot me. The entire group turned rogue. Players came from everywhere and the confused group was obliterated. In effect, their loot was stolen and I can understand that they were pretty pissed off. Okay, let it be clear that the following verdict I'm gonna give is based on the beta version of The Division. The beta only had a relatively small area to explore and only one main quest mission to complete. Still, the beta did give a thorough enough impression to know what to expect of the final game. Within 2 hours of playing the beta, a question already popped in my mind asking for how long this game, that already felt repetitive rather quickly, could remain fun. My intuition answered with, well, about a month. I guess we'll have to wait and see. The game does look beautiful, the combat is nothing special, and I just couldn't tell you whether the main story will have anything to offer or not. And the character progression has something to wish for as well. Having only 2 to a max of 3 active skills available during combat does feel like a tonsillitis symptom. My verdict, The Division is guilty of being entertaining. Nothing more, nothing less, I'm afraid. Thank you for watching. This is Finn's Verdict. Goodbye.